Looking for the best place to shop this Mother's Day? Go with the brand that makes it easy to send something thoughtful to everyone on your list. 1-800-Flowers.com. Right now at 1-800-Flowers, order 1 dozen roses and get another dozen free. More flowers mean more smiles, all backed by the quality, attention to detail, and trusted delivery experience that make 1-800-Flowers my top choice to send something beautiful Mom will love. Make Mom's Day at 1-800-Flowers.com/podcast. That's 1-800-Flowers.com/podcast.
This is the Washington Times front page for Tuesday, April 28th, 2026. Thanks for joining us. I'm George Gerbo. Federal prosecutors have brought attempted assassination charges against the man accused of opening fire outside of the White House Correspondents Dinner and writing a manifesto targeting President Trump. Matt Delaney reports prosecutors updated the charges against 31-year-old Cole Allen, who wore a blue prison jumpsuit during his arraignment at the U.S. District Court for the District of Columbia. Allen's also charged with the transportation of a firearm and using a firearm during a violent crime. An initial charge of assault of a federal officer was dropped. He briefly answered Judge Matthew Sharbaugh's questions about his identity and legal rights, but otherwise didn't speak. He will remain in federal custody on the 3 charges. A detention hearing is scheduled for Thursday. The charge of attempting to assassinate the president carries a penalty of up to life in prison. The White House says it received an offer from Iran to reopen the Strait of Hormuz if talks about its nuclear program are postponed. Vaughn Conkane and Tom Howell report the White House was careful to characterize the debate in the Situation Room as a discussion, not a formal consideration of the proposal. The president is eager to maintain his blockade of Iranian ports to preserve leverage in negotiations over Iran's uranium enrichment program. Both sides are looking for a way forward after negotiations faltered again over the weekend. Trump canceled a U.S. delegation's trip to Pakistan for talks at the last minute and said the U.S. can afford to wait for better terms from Iran. Florida Republican Governor Ron DeSantis has unveiled a reconfigured congressional district map to counter the recent voter-approved map led by Democrats in Virginia. If approved, Susan Freechair reports Florida's map would likely enable Republicans to win an additional 4 House seats in the midterm elections in November. Currently, Florida's 28 seats in the House are held by 20 Republicans and 7 Democrats, with 1 Democratic vacancy. Florida's new map draws the state into a nationwide partisan redistricting brawl that started in Texas and now includes more than a half dozen states that have redrawn their maps ahead of the midterms. It's unclear if the effort will succeed. Florida's constitution bans intentionally drawing maps to benefit either party. The Supreme Court is trying to figure out how far police may go in asking Google to turn over users' location data to help solve crimes. Acknowledging they were touching on largely unexplored areas, Stephen Dinan reports the court sought to apply constitutional protections written in the 18th century about papers and houses to today's smartphones and their user agreements. The case before the court stems from a 2019 armed robbery at a credit union in Virginia. The suspect eluded police for months until they obtained a geofence warrant, which asked Google to use its records and identify those who were near the scene within an hour of the robbery. In the end, Google identified 19 accounts, narrowed it down to 9, and turned over subscriber information for 3 of those, leading to the arrest of the robber. And finally, Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk is asking Ukraine to help develop a drone armada. Mike Glenn reports Poland is undergoing one of the most significant and rapid military expansions in modern European history. It's bought hundreds of tanks, howitzers, and rockets since 2022, when the Polish government passed the Homeland Defense Act in response to the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Poland devotes 4.8% of its gross domestic product to the military, the highest share among NATO members. Find all of today's front page stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page or on the Washington Times app, and find us wherever you get your podcasts. You can also find us on social media at Wash Times for breaking news, sports, commentary, and more. The Washington Times. I'm George Gerbo.
Marketing is hard. But I'll tell you a little secret. It doesn't have to be. Let me point something out. You're listening to a podcast right now, and it's great. You love the host. You seek it out and download it. You listen to it while driving, working out, cooking, even going to the bathroom. Podcasts are a pretty close companion. And this is a podcast ad. Did I get your attention? You can reach great listeners like yourself with podcast advertising from Libsyn Ads. Choose from hundreds of top podcasts offering host endorsements, or run a pre-produced ad like this one across thousands of shows to reach your target audience in their favorite podcasts with Libsyn Ads. Go to libsynads.com, that's LIBSYN, ads.com today.